Cheated or no cheated? I am not a storyteller, I may have not the imagination to make the most interesting or gruesome themes, I will only describe what has happened to me. My name is Daniel, I am a professional already retired almost in the 70s, and I have the economic peace of mind that comes from renting some properties and some money at bank. My 2 children live in Europe and have their own businesses and families, we love them very much and we visit them at least once a year. I have been married to the same woman, Emma, since we were 25, she has good relationships with her family, groups of friends from school and university, not to mention that they are very conservative people in every way, she also has an aura of friend, good mother, wife, etc. etc. Because of her Irish Catholic religious education, she has never been a sexual woman, despite my requests, oral sex, eroticism, and something more spicy, but she never accepted and I resigned myself. Our sex relationship, let's say almost boring. Particularly I am not a saint, and a few years ago, more than 10, I had a couple of adventures that Emma found and at any opportunity made me remember them, and for about 3 years, sex was extinguished until say a year and a half that we stopped having, we slept in the same bed, but we avoided touching each other. It had been over a year since we had taken off our wedding ring and she was wearing a diamond ring, I was wearing nothing. Despite my age, I'm still hot, so I got Sylvia, a 40-year-old woman, she's not a prostitute but it's just a compromise of money and sex, no romantic outings, I help her with her house bills and she with her hot body, we meet once a week and it's just sex. I even remember the last time we had real sex with Emma, it was in a 5-star hotel in the center of Helsinki, big windows, narrow streets, and an office worker in the opposite building who earned the sexual show of Emma's tits and pussy in the window. Although shy at home, she is a bit of an exhibitionist sometimes, far from home. The matter began in mid-June, we were staying in Berlin at one of our son's houses and Emma always talked in her sleep. One of the last nights there, almost at dawn, she began to have a very erotic and loud dream, with orgasm and everything. She clearly said, "Put that fat cock in me and how I like to eat your balls." In this regard my cock is medium size, 16 centimeters, but it's not fat, and I remember, she has never been interested in my balls. I understand that dreams are, or projections of desires or memories of the past, and for this reason the next morning I began to joke about her boyfriend from the erotic dream, thinking that she would laugh and follow the joke, but no, she was offended and annoyed beyond reason, which seemed extremely strange to me. So, there I doubted her. That morning she went shopping and I started to check her phone. In messaging or WhatsApp I didn't find strange messages, although I know they can be deleted, but later I entered Google Maps chronology to see her routes, leafing back through the days since we had left on the trip, nothing strange until I saw 3 days in the month of April, the 7th, 11th, 15th and 2nd of May. The screen showed that he left the house at 10 a.m. about half an hour after I went to the club to swim and returned before 1 p.m., the time I returned home, but the maps also indicated that she parked very close to the house, about 5 or 7 blocks away, in a couple of places where we don't know anyone, nor are there stores. Besides, at those distances, she always goes on foot. I guess it doesn't take a genius to figure out that Emma was meeting someone. She left her bag in her car and left without her phone so as not to receive calls. I took a screenshot of each of those days, and after thinking about it many times and from various points of view, I wrote it down and showed it to her at night, saying that she would have to explain to me what she did and where she was those days. She said she did not remember. I told her I would not insist there, because I do not want to disturb my son's house, and she would have 2 days to remember, until we arrived at our house. The 12-hour return trip by plane was tense. After a day at home, I did some tests driving myself from my house to those points, and the maps marked trajectories that were not the same, but similar, which confirmed my suspicions. The next day I went out with her in her car saying that I wanted to talk about it, and I directly drove to that park near the house and parked in the position that I estimated she parked those days. The point is that she was upset because in the afternoon there were guests at the house. She was offended, outraged, and also said that she would be unable to do it. She also said if I believed to the GPS or her. I asked her if she would swear on the memory of her parents and on our children that she had not fucked with another person, and she swears to me. From the way she answered, one realizes that she was not telling the truth. She made me feel sorry for her. I have the financial capacity to hire a person and raise half the city looking for evidence in the near hotels or get the footage from the security cameras near where she was parked, but what would I achieve with that? I understand that she also craves sex, but as long as it's just that I understand it, but if it was something else, I wouldn't accept it. That night I told her that the next day I wanted to have lunch with her at the club, that way we could talk and handle things civilly, because if we did it alone at home, maybe she or I would explode with rage and there would be no understanding. She was very nervous, I know, because when she is afraid or anxious, she starts to hum in a very low tone. I think she was thinking that I will ask for a divorce for adultery, and she knows that this divorce would be made public so that her last friendship would find out that she was the cause. I think that more than the divorce, she is terrified to think that she would lose the aura of great lady and would be branded as a cheating bitch. We had lunch. I ordered a delicious sea base with a couple of glasses of white wine and she a fungi risotto with lemonade. Emma doesn't drink liquor. With the coffee I went straight to the subject. I told him, you haven't given me an answer in those days and I'm not going to ask you anymore. You and I know the truth, and considering that I ask you if you want an immediate divorce. She told me again that she didn't remember those days, that she had never done anything wrong, that she had been faithful to me, and that if she had wanted to divorce her many years ago she would have done it. I told her that a married life like the one we lead was unmanageable, since the fact of not having sex with each other gives rise to many possibilities, and that, if we reconcile from that day on, we would have sex on a regular basis. And that we would do our best. She asked me for my wedding ring and gave me hers, and we exchanged rings there in the restaurant. Of course she swore allegiance and more. That night we went to bed, but nothing happened. The next night we had sex with some poses. I thought I would be careful, because I could irritate her vagina when having sex after a while, but no, I penetrated easily and loosely, and I told her, hey, I thought penetration could irritate your vagina, and she replied, I have a fine vagina. I told her. Or was it well maintained all these months? She didn't say a word. It's been a few weeks and we have regular sex. It's nothing extraordinary, but we try hard. I have accepted what happened, but unfortunately I no longer trust her, and without her knowing, I check her movements. If she already broke up and forgot about that relationship, I'll totally forget about it, but if she ever runs away again, the next time she sees me it will be sitting at a table with my lawyers. What do you think? Comment. My opine is that you, as a cheater, should not be calling out your wife. You cheat, she cheats. It seems to work for you guys. You guys don't have sex with each other but with another steady partner. Why rock that boat? You have no moral high ground here. If she has a lover, it's probably on off. I suggest you investigate for your peace of mind. At your age, no judgment, both live life. If you found out her lover's name, you may decide to encourage them, since she lacks passion in your bed, without them knowing you're pulling strings. That way your wife can continue to be a saint in public. Next story 2. I found out my BF cheated. I was already planning on breaking up after 3 years with BF because of other reasons, but I decided that I wanted to know for sure if my feelings of distrust were logical or not. If my intuition was right. So I checked his phone. This is what I found. Multiple messages to younger and attractive women. But the funny thing was, the women didn't really respond back to him. But it felt like he was fishing for attention from them. He was texting a girl at 4:45 in the morning if she was coming to the club. He was texting with a colleague from work or someone he sees regularly during workdays. Back then we only saw each other in the weekends because he was working abroad. He said that he wanted her to do Disney dances for him. WTF. They said how much excitement they felt seeing each other. He said that he would stay in the weekends there for her. They had multiple dates. So, my intuition was right. All this time, 2,5 years, I was right and I was being gaslighted by him thinking I am the problem and the jealous one. My feelings were valid and they weren't because of trauma in the past. And I believed that for a long time, that there was something wrong with me while I kept building the relationship and going to therapy to fix my trust issues. Well, it's a good thing I know now that I am not a crazy person but a person with outstanding intuition for what's good and wrong for me. I will not abandon me again. That's what I've learned thanks to this heartbreak. I can feel my self-confidence already growing. But I am also still in shock by finding all this out. It's been only 2 days. Yesterday he came back and I broke up with him. I will put that story below in the comments for people who want to read on. Comment. Here's the story. Sorry I have been so sick the past few days, I couldn't even type. Sundog 1 p.m. I was laying in bed, feeling like shit. I finally had the courage to call him and to end things when he stormed into my room asking what was wrong. I said that I knew that he cheated and lied to me. He denied for a long time. He seduced me into telling him what I knew and he said about the woman he dated with that they didn't do anything. But why then keep things a secret? He told me that he only kissed with a woman on his party vacation. But I know that there was more. He lied again. He wanted me desperately to stay in a relationship with him. He wanted to go to therapy. He said he wouldn't do it again. He asked what I needed and wanted. I told him, the magic of unbroken trust. Okay, so your dude was turned down by hotter women? What's the issue? Just the fact that they are more attractive than you. Would you make the same big deal out of it if they were uglier than you? I'll never understand these people. He could just have left instead of making you feel like shit / like you were the problem for years. Good riddance and best of luck to you.